It's that time once again, as another My Hero Academia episode has come and gone, and we finally entered the second part of the season. My reviews are going to work in a way where I talk about the new episode and its contents while glancing over what I think was cool, talk about my favorite character and moment in the episode, and then if I feel like there's anything worth mentioning in regards to it, I'll also talk about my least favorite character and moment. The series is shifting to a different tone now, though before we really get into that, we still have a few things to overcome from the previous arc. So before we get into the start of the episode, let's talk about the brand new opening. The last opening we had for Season 4 was Polaris, from Blue and Count, and that was an opening that really grew on me as it went on. When it came to the visuals, it wasn't super impressive when put up against something like the first opening from Season 3, but it was still a good one nonetheless. With this new opening, however, we are treated to a completely different style, which has gone untouched by My Hero up to this point. Kana Boon provides this new opening titled Star Maker, and it's a mishmash of great animation ideas and colors being employed by the animators. If you guys remember, Kana Boon provides the infamous 16th opening for Naruto Shippuden that is used in every video ever claiming to turn something into an anime opening. This song is nothing like Silhouette, but instead goes for a bit of a soft rock approach that really is such a far departure from the norm for this series, and yet goes very well with the visuals. We're in for an arc that will feature a school festival and a lot of mental hurdles for our main characters to overcome. And I think this is probably the best time to have such an opening used in the show. It really puts a spotlight on Jiro too, which is pretty cool, and is very reminiscent of a manga cover from a volume I can now only assume takes place during this part of the story. Anyway, into the actual episode. It opens up with Gran Torino and Sukauchi driving through the countryside, looking for Kurogiri of the League of Villains. Apparently he has been spotted in the woods by several people in the area, and they're going to try and arrest him. Eventually they manage to spot him in the woods, and send Gran Torino out to apprehend him. The plan works rather easily, and Gran Torino pins him down, though Kurogiri is quick to let him and the police know that he is here for a reason. There have been rumors of a wild man in the woods, and Kurogiri has come in search of him. This man is a subordinate of All for One, and at some point in the past, Kurogiri was told that if anything were to ever happen to All for One, he should seek out the help of this person. The ground begins shaking, and suddenly a giant creature known as a Gigantomachia appears before the group, before throwing down an attack. We cut away from that to this scene back at the hospital, where a report about the attack on Overhaul's police transport is being shown. Deku walks over and looks on at it in horror, but Eraserhead quickly tells him not to feel responsible for something like this. The students that were admitted to the hospital were healed thanks to Recovery Girl, and are being released today, though they want to keep Sugata a little longer just to keep monitoring him. Deku expresses a desire to remain at the hospital until Eri wakes up, but Eraserhead tells him that even if he stayed around, nothing will change. They just need to trust the doctors to help her out. Deku decides that before he leaves, he wants to have a quick chat with Sugata and races off to his room, entering it to find Sugata already doing some sort of exercise on his hospital bed. Deku is shocked to see him in such high spirits, and Sugata admits that while he is now quirkless and without Sir Night-Eye, that he probably shouldn't be the way he is right now. Though the whole reason he is keeping himself in such a high-spirited mood is because of what Sir Night-Eye told him before he died. While he was around Deku, Night-Eye would often be serious, though whenever he was with Sugata, he would smile all the time. Sugata is keeping himself from crying, so he can never lose his smile and instead become a great hero someday, just like Sir Night-Eye said he would. Deku begins to think back to when Sir Night-Eye told him that even though he has enough power to become as simple, he lacks anything that keeps him from just being ordinary. Again, the piercing words that Sir Night-Eye spoke of Sugata being more worthy of receiving one for all echo throughout Deku's mind. Deku marvels at the thought that Sugata continued to fight Overhaul and protect Eri even after losing his quirk. While protecting Eri himself, Deku needed the use of her quirk and Eraserhead to even put up a fight, and that fact eats away at him to the point where he imagines that if only Sugata had inherited One for All, maybe Sir Night-Eye may not have died, and maybe All Might's future would be changed. In a moment of pure emotional distress, Deku begins to ask Sugata what he would say if Deku told him he could give him his quirk, but Sugata cuts him right off and tells him he doesn't need it. Even if it were possible for Deku to give up his quirk, Sugata wouldn't want to cause such a trouble for him by taking it. Regardless of what Deku is thinking or believes, the bottom line is that he did a good job and is a true hero for what he did for Eri. Sugata says that he had a conversation with the Eraser about Eri possibly being able to rewind him back to having his quirk one day, and even if it doesn't work, Sugata won't give up. He'll have to take some time off from UA until his quirk comes back, but he'll keep looking for a way to bring his quirk back. Regardless, Sugata believes fully what Night-Eye told him about when he uses foresight that no matter what he'll be Lemillion who will save a million. As the scene transitions to next, we see that All Might is on the other side of Sugata's door, hearing the end of the conversation between the two heroes. We then move outside the Kirishima and Deku, meeting up and being picked up by the police so they could answer some questions about the raid. And after so many grueling hours dealing with that and filling out paperwork, they're finally headed back to their dorms. On the way inside, Uraraka and Frappi meet up with the two, and they are absolutely ambushed by their classmates the moment they step in. Everyone surrounds them with support and joy that they're alright. It becomes so overwhelming that Ida tries to step in and calm everyone down, but the minute that Deku tells him it's alright, he ends up becoming the most over the top of them all. During the celebration, Todoroki and Bakugo step away, and Deku inquires why, only to be reminded that they're currently going through their provisional license makeups. As things settle down, Deku reflects upon the outcome of the past day. The students involved are each dealing with things in their own way, and the thoughts and experiences of this day are bound to never leave them. It's actually pretty crazy to think about the fact that this all happened in one morning. Often when shown in anime, huge events that transpire over the course of a few minutes to a few hours will take several episodes to get through, so it makes things a little jarring once the dust settles and we reach a point like this in an episode. Regardless of how they all felt, on this night, the four who helped save Eri and take down the Hasakai, and overhaul, for good, would spend much of their night awake and thinking about just what they experienced. The next morning, we join Bakugo and Todoroki on their way to their exams, this time being accompanied to them by Present Mic and All Might. They would usually be going with the Eraserhead, but due to the hospital wanting him around as often as they can, to have him help with Eri, he instead asked Present Mic to take them. With the League of Villains showing that they're clearly active, they decided that having some teachers with the students would be a good idea. It seems the idea of the League is striking All Might harder than usual, as he flashes back to a very recent phone conversation with Gran Torino. They did manage to capture and arrest Kudogiri, but that Gigantomachia creature got away. Gran Torino actually questions whether or not arresting Kudogiri on the spot was a good idea or not, if it meant allowing the giant villain to escape and hide. His attacks on the police were enough to destroy several mountains, paving the way for Gran Torino to calm a walking disaster. The group takes off for the test facility, and a thought crosses Todoroki's mind that All Might coming with them today might make things a bit annoying. Once they get to the facility, the teachers see the students off for their class, and head up to the stands to watch, and in doing so, they come across Todoroki's father, the new #1 hero, Endeavor. As it turns out, he's been looking to have a conversation with All Might, so this is perfect timing. The thought of this weighs on Todoroki's mind as he walks down a hallway, not knowing that the two have already crossed paths. Suddenly, his train of thought is broken though, as Inasa from Shiketsu High calls out to him saying hello. He isn't alone, however, as Kami is right behind him, and she immediately introduces herself to Todoroki, trying to put the moves on him. The group interacts with one another as we get one final shot of two people watching them through cameras and discussing that today's test is going to be a little harder than normal. I gotta say, I really like that we're going to be seeing Todoroki and Bakugo's training, and I'm seriously looking forward to seeing what All Might and Endeavor talk about. But I wasn't super impressed with this episode. I liked what they built up with Gran Torino and all that, but the fact that this is already feeling like the second core of season 3 is off-putting for me. I know that it won't last for too long because there was supposed to be a whole school festival part of this arc, but I just sort of wish this didn't seem like it was going to take up the next few episodes. Still, I really am interested in the next one, and the credits make it seem like it'll be filled with little kids. So it's probably going to be funny watching them interact with Bakugo and Todoroki. Well, that's going to do it for My Hero Academia Season 4 Episode 15 Smoldering Flames' review. If you enjoyed this one, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to Mystic Sage notifications on so you don't miss my review of the 4th season's next great episode. I've got a lot of great video ideas about My Hero Academia already on the channel, and about plenty of other anime, as well as with more to come. I hope you guys have been enjoying these reviews, and the show so far as well, and I'll be back at it again soon with another review of My Hero Academia.